Welcome to the TRISBRINA Show. Today we're talking about the difference between knowing it and knowing it.
Yeah, and what we mean by that is the knowing it versus, oh man.
All the doubting.
I know it
That
here.
inner knowing. Yeah, we want to dive into it. In fact, we got super inspired today. We were part of an event that we have been supporting and promoting and also participating in with our friend Dean Graziosi, obviously his partner, Tony Robbins. They've got over 900,000 people that showed up for this. It's quite phenomenal. We had such a beautiful lady come on today. Her name is Jamie Kern. And if anybody knows anything about makeup, then you know Jamie Kern from QVC and IT Cosmetics. And her story is incredible about her skin, her rosacea, the journey.
My mother and her sisters, she has 6 sisters, introduced me to watch this thing on IT Cosmetic years and years and years and years ago. So I've followed Jamie as that person. And then to see her now in this whole new part of her life where she's teaching and inspiring other people.
And many of you were there, and you probably witnessed her tell her story of her journey and shared some things that I don't think she shared before. It was very beautiful. It was very moving. It reminded me of a movie we saw years ago called Joy. I think it was about the lady who came up with that. Is a type of a mop.
Some kind of a mop to sell on QVC.
Right. And all the doors that close in our faces. Yeah. And she really talked about this inner knowing. In fact, she used 3 words that we liken to the 3 energy centers. She said, your gut, your knowing, your intuition, whatever you call it. And I was like, hey, that's what we talk about, that gut instinct, that power center being activated and open, that inner knowing. That's so Satori, just being able to have those internal uploads. We call that the brain of your being. And then the intuition, that divine guidance. And so we want to talk to you today about trusting that inner knowing and not poo-pooing it or knotting it away, or knowing it away, rather. So you want to talk a little bit about this morning and what happened and how we ended up having this kind of cool discovery?
Your story.
But you were a big part of how it all happened. Okay, we'll give you a story to give it context, and then we'll land the plane on the lesson.
So what I'm going to sort of put in a capsule what he said. That's what he said.
That's what she meant.
Like, we all have these feelings where it feels like a nudge. And that's what sometimes we feel like that's our gut. And some people call it a God whisper. And some people say after the fact, gosh, I just sort of knew that wasn't the right thing.
Right.
Or I knew that, or I noticed that. And I thought it was peculiar that I noticed that. There's all these ways that when you are aligned, the universe, God, love, your inner being, whatever you choose to call it, is communicating with you and sort of nudging you and guiding you along the best particular path for that particular moment. And it's usually never a straight line.
No.
It's crazy, the coincidence and the synchronicities and the timing. And when you look back, you're like, oh my gosh, we talked about on a couple shows ago how we actually met, and he was raised in England and I was raised in Virginia, and all these things that happened to put us in the same seminar years later. And looking back at it, it's like if that one person hadn't been at that audition and said that to me, and then sitting on my front porch, and if her car hadn't broken down, if she wasn't dating him, and if he didn't have a crush on me, wouldn't have invited me to that thing where I waited there for a year and a half for Tristan to show up. And then you have your own weird story.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're talking about, is these kind of beautiful nudges, like you said, like the gut instinct, the knowing, the intuition.
So we moved into this new home, some of you know, late last year. It was in October. And up until the time of moving here, our other home had very close to it a beautiful park. And so we do live streaming every single week for our students, and we teach in the park, not every week, but a lot, at this particular park close to our home. We call it Ninja Turtle Dojo. And we didn't even know that it was there until we'd been living in the home for like 5 years. And we went looking at the swimming pools in the homeowners area. we stumbled upon this gorgeous park. And many of you have either been there physically or you've been there digitally.
Yep. So we lived in this home for like 15 years, right?
Yeah.
13 years, however long it was. And for probably 6 years, we
5 or 6
didn't
years,
even know that there was this
gorgeous
pond and turtles and birds and walking area.
Trees.
Until we stumbled upon it right around the point we needed this place to film.
We did. It was a perfect timing.
Yeah.
And so that was really a gift. It felt like a divine gift, and a lot of people have loved training through that lens into that beautiful area. And it felt a little bit like we were in Shangri-La. And so when we were moving, one of my, it wasn't a disappointment, but something that I yearned for was to be able to still go there and have classes. And so it's a little bit of a drive, truth be told, to get there. But I go there when I can and when the weather permits. But I've been saying ever since we moved here, it'd be so cool to find something like that. And so I've been scouting, location scouting.
And we posted in the little neighborhood around here. Yeah. We asked people.
Yeah, anybody
and we just haven't found
anybody,
anything.
And literally, no one has really, like, the lake is out here, but that's awkward, and there's homes, and there's not really a good spot for
Noise.
that. There's some nice grass areas. There's out by our pool, which is beautiful. But to be able to replicate this pond almost seems impossible.
Yeah.
And so we found a water fountain kind of water area over by where there's a Whole Foods in the Galleria. It's about 5-6 minutes from here. And I was looking at it, and I told Sabrina, I found a bunch of ducks and stuff. And
so many ducks.
And it was nice, but it's right next to the road, so there's the vroom, vroom noise of the cars. And I was like,
so they sort of built this beautiful water area as you're driving by on the main highway. You see the water area with the fountain and the ducks, and the mall is behind it. So if you're filming there, you're getting the traffic.
So we tried, and I did a little test, and it was just too loud. So this is an ongoing kind of a fun little journey, and we're going to show you some video footage of what ended up happening today. Anyway, we were going the other day, and Sabrina, makeup story, said, I need to go to something cosmetics.
Yeah, no, I said, so we were going somewhere, and it was supposed to be like kind of like date night, and I never ever like go to a store. I order stuff online. I said, do you mind, can we go to Ulta? And I just want to run in and buy 1 can of this certain hairspray that I like. It's really great. It's Sebastian Reshaper. It's in a brown bottle. And it makes it where you can curl your hair and then brush it, and it still keeps the style. Hint, hint.
Any sponsors out there?
And I've never walked into Ulta to buy a can of hairspray. I always buy it online.
So this is across the street from Whole Foods.
And Ulta is like... it's not a strip of stores. It's like a strip and a right angle to the strip, and a strip and a right angle, and then hodgepodge all in this area that they would call like a walking mall, but it's not straight lines. So in order to get to Ulta, which was in a corner, it's a very special view. And when we went there, we saw this grassy area with this water spewing.
Water fountain.
So, look.
And so note to self, it didn't look like it could work, but it looked like it had potential for this filming of this particular class, this weekly class. And so I had intentions of this morning driving in the car and going out to the place I said earlier, which is where we used to live. We call it Ninja Turtle Dojo. But then it was a little bit rainy, and I wasn't sure if it was going to work and would I get there on time, blah, blah, blah. And then Sabrina said to me, why don't you just teach here? This is such a beautiful place, and it might rain. And something inside me...
And you only had 10 minutes, and it's a 20-minute drive.
Something inside said, no, go to that place over by Ulta. There's something that could happen.
Yeah.
That, the students will like it.
And I definitely was like, honey, you're going to be late. People don't want to listen to you in your car. You should stay here. And he said no.
It's that whisper. There was this thing, because when we saw off behind Ulta, this little water area, something in here just said, there's something here for you. You guys know what we're talking about. Those little, they're like breadcrumbs. They're little hints. They're little nudges. They're little signs.
Tell us in the chat. Do you know what we mean?
And you know how you have to like take a step to before you can take the next step, and you take the next step, and you take. So I drive in the car and I get there and I park, and I'm on the video with everybody. And well, why don't I just show you what happened? I'll cut through some of it, but let me just show you what was happening today. It was really cool because it blew my mind. All right, here we go. It's so easy to be in love. It's so easy to be. Yes, different strokes for different folks, they say. Farmers markets. I love the farmers market. We have a farmers market here every Sunday from 10 to 2. Okay. You can hear everything. Great. You're going to hear the noise of walking. Do you guys? Now, there may be something with the microphone and the gain, meaning how high or low it goes, and I haven't figured out how to work that out yet. And I'm not too worried about it. If you guys. All right, so we have a whole other area here. I'll show you guys. This looks like a little. Park. We got a whole park here. I didn't know that any of this was here. And it's like that sometimes. When we were at the other home, we didn't know that that park was so close. For years we lived there and we had no idea. We're going to go on a little bit more scouting and then we'll know for the future. Thanks for joining me this morning for this. Thank you, Elise. Always styling. I'm an influencer for you guys. That's right. Here's the question. What are we under the influence of? I say we're under the influence of love. Oh, no way. We might be scoring big time here. I don't know. What? Guys, the adventure has just started. We're going down here. I'm not kidding. There's some really cool stuff down here. I don't know if this is the best way to go. Let's see. Little pond down here. I do need a machete. Guys. Are you kidding me? Look at the lilies. The lotus flowers. Get out of here. What? Literally in my backyard. And I make this side young. Sometimes you'll do a little shift side to side. Okay, so we just want to show you a little bit of that just to make a point that there's a knowing inside. I could have knowed it. No. It's wet outside. No. I'll just go to the old place. No. It'd probably be noisy over there where the cars are. No, that was that water unit, and it's just like man-made. It's not going to be that cool. I had all those thoughts in my head. But something said, well, just go anyway. Mm-hmm. And that's really the point, is like, what is that inside of us? That inner wisdom, that inner knowing, that awareness that's beyond the thinking mind that says, but there's probably more. Yeah. And I could have settled at that first spot. It was nice enough. But sometimes you have to go a little further to get the real treasure. Mm-hmm. And just a little more adventure. Keep listening, a little more exploring. The universe finds a way to bring those dots together. And boy, did it. So now we have this whole Shangri-La. Like right over there, down the street. I told Sabrina when I came home, I said, I've got an entire new set. An entire new studio that we can film and teach classes in. Mm-hmm. It's just gorgeous. So... Yeah.
And what's great about this story and this lesson is it's a example of just something so simple.
So simple.
Right? Like finding, amazing, right? You found a body of water surrounded with green that looks on camera almost identical to that which he desired.
Is what I wanted.
Great.
I love
Now, is it life or death? No.
Nope.
But the reason we wanted to share that example with you is because the whispers, the gut, the knowing and the intuition is always there.
Right.
It's always that aligned guidance that is there for everything without judging. Well, that doesn't matter. Oh, that does matter. That's all in our intellect and in our mind, that something doesn't matter and something does matter. The knowing is always there in the simplest of things about how long I'm exercising. Do I feel finished? Should I keep going? What should I eat? Going to bed, getting up, going to meet that person for coffee, playing with the dog now, doing it later. Everything. You can tune in for the smallest of guidance or the grandest of guidance. Should I get certified in Qigong? Should I teach virtually or in person? What feels in my gut like the right thing to do right now? Should I just study right now and launch it later? Should I jump all in? Like, for me, every single, decision or move that I make, I want it to be from that alignment with what the gut is telling me, what the heart is telling me, what the knowing is telling me, what the intuition is. And I find that when I do that enough, I become one with it. And it's no longer like something is telling me. It just starts feeling like my strongest thought. And that can be really confusing for a while, right? You're sitting to meditate and you get up and you have a thought and you can say, oh, I was just meditating and now I have these thoughts. But then to realize, oh my gosh, when I'm in this aligned place, those are the thoughts of my highest self. Those are the answers to my prayer, are the thoughts that I'm having. How else is God speaking to you? Through other people? Yeah. Through coincidences? Yeah. And also through the things that just occur to you. So for me, that's like the greatest thing is when there is a prayer, a question, a yearning, when I am super aligned and happy and joyful and just being totally present, the things that occur to me, I see are actually the exact answers and directions that I've been praying for and seeking for. I'm not separate from it anymore.
I love what I'm reading and what I'm hearing. It's such a gorgeous to be tapped into that inner being and to trust that it's got your back. It's like you've got this best friend inside you that knows so much more than you're thinking alone. I think it was yesterday that I said to you, Sabrina, I trust my soul way more than I trust myself. And what I meant by that is I can get pretty busy in my head. Anybody can relate. When you're just not quite in alignment with your true self. And you start overthinking, start worrying, start doubting yourself. Second guessing, getting a little too noisy that you don't hear the whisper. They call it the whisper, I think, because you got to get quiet. Sometimes it's not a whisper at all. It's pretty strong and pretty loud. It's pretty damn clear. But if I get too noisy in my head, I find I lose my way. I have an analogy, I call it, you're on your path, but then you get off and you end up in the brambles. Kind of like in that video I just showed. I was definitely in the brambles for a minute there, but I got back on the path. I got on a really beautiful path. Sometimes you have to go through the brambles to get to the next part of the path. Maybe that path hasn't been forged yet, right? And it requires a little innovation on your part.
Yeah.
But my point is that if I get too noisy or too far off, and if I were to get stuck in the brambles, I got to get back to where I know the path is. And that for me is getting quiet and listening and going inside. And then I hear, no, I don't hear. I feel alignment first because I start to feel good. And my breath settles in, my energy comes up. And it's exactly this for me. When my energy comes up, and I feel it very strong in my body, more than my mind, my body becomes like a tuning fork for what's right for me or not right for me. This is why we love Qigong and movement so much. Our bodies don't lie. They're such incredible teachers. They let you know when you're off. They hurt. Or when the body is out of alignment, the mind then gets cray-cray. So in Satori method, we're always telling people, you want to get aligned, you want to get centered, you want to get out of your head, get back in your body. Move your body, calm your body, specifically your energy body. When my energy body comes back online, I can hear those whispers so clearly. I can feel them in my tissues. Yep. I feel them, the flow, and this clarity comes. And I'm the best of me when I'm out of the way and I'm clear.
Yeah.
And I trust that way more than the other. Way more.
And for me, when I'm tapped in and listening, it's not like there's one of me going, oh, I'm so tapped in and listening right now. It just feels normal.
Yeah.
It just feels good, feels right. When I'm feeling off, then there's usually I'm probably not listening. Indecisive. There's something that feels like I should do this, but then the no, like no comes in and goes, that's not the right time. You know you're not going to follow through on that. You've done things like that before and it hasn't worked out. That doesn't seem, those kind of no's come in. And the more that I practice really following what feels right for me, regardless of what other people think. And that's a big one.
Especially when they're saying no, don't do it.
A win for me might not look like a win to someone else. Right? To someone, a win for me might be not doing something.
Wow.
Where for somebody else, that might make me look like a loser. It's just a judgment.
So for you, a win might not be doing something.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, think about like a habit or an addiction. A win sometimes is not saying yes.
That's right on, yeah. Because I think a lot of times people think, I got to do something to get a win. Maybe don't do it.
You have to choose something else.
That's a beautiful shift. I like that a lot.
A win for me is always choosing alignment.
Yeah.
What is the most aligned action I can do right now? What is the most aligned thought? What is the most loving thing I can do? What feels good right now? Maybe not tomorrow, right now. Only right now.
You bring that in.
So as soon as you start thinking about, but tomorrow and next week, that's when the no-nos come in. Because it's logic. It's not in alignment with the knowing.
I love what you're talking about. Yeah, alignment.
That's why we get along.
Because I like what you say. Thank goodness. Can you imagine being stuck with somebody you don't believe what they're saying, you don't respect what they're saying, you don't laugh when they talk? Yeah, we're good together. I like what you're saying about alignment is right now, and tomorrow might be a different action or decision. And that's so important. That's why consistently being connected is everything. Yeah. It can't be like, oh, I'm going to do this weekend workshop, or I'm going to go on a silent retreat, or I'm going to go and, whatever myself tomorrow. Like, it's every moment. And that's not exhausting, though. It's exhausting being out of alignment. Right? It's so much more effort when you're trying to be clear, when you're trying psychologically. We both love brain science and psychology and goal setting and all these things as tools that serve the soul, not the other way around. They're not the tools that get us there. They're the tools that are used by that inner wisdom. And the inner wisdom's like, all right, cool. Now let's use some of these cool tools. Let's journal. Let's do affirmations, whatever. Visualization. Let's set some intentions. But it's always from alignment. Key. So at Satori, we say body, mind, aligned. That's our method. You move your body. You slip into that sweet place where you're connected to source. And from there you create.
Yeah.
That's it. And the creative process,
it's a shortcut.
Are simple. At least I think it's Sabrina maybe slightly different than me, but I'm pretty sure we're the same. I listen and then I feel like, is this a yes or a no? And if it's not sure, I might wait. But when I get a hit that's like my energy goes up, I move towards that thing and I test it out in the real world. I don't just like meditate and manifest. Like, I don't, to poo-poo it, I love it, but I like to know it's real. So I go and I test the waters. It's like I go test drive the car, and then I get feedback, and it's this beautiful cycle of feedback looping and then checking in. Still lighting me up? Okay, keep going. And the moment that it doesn't, I'm going to shift to where my soul takes me next. That's it.
Yep. I think when something feels good for me and I'm really following that gut, there isn't even a pause that says, is this in alignment or not? Because I'm so busy yesing. I'm so busy knowing, action. And that, I'll say, cookie cutter example of somebody who is like in meditation and aligned. They talk slow. They process slowly. They do one thing and then pause and do another. That's not me.
No, it's not.
When I am aligned, I can actually probably think on 5 dimensions at a time. I talk fast. I do fast. I accomplish so much so fast. I'm probably really irritating to people around me. Feels so good.
She loves it.
I feel like a dog that just got the juiciest bone. I was like, I feel really good. Like I'm so in flow, and I can create so much so fast.
I get that.
And somebody on the outside might go, whoa, chill out. You don't have to do all that, baby. And I'll be like, yes, I do. Because it's just flowing through me.
You're streaming.
I don't think if we compare it to a fairy tale of like, and God created the earth in 7 days. You think he's busy? Think he's multitasking? I think so. They say, well, slow down. You made Asia yesterday. Better not work on Africa today. Right? I don't think it happened like that.
Well, that is too funny. Yeah, that's the super highway. That's super consciousness.
I like that you just start laughing because
Well, I've seen it.
Yeah,
I live with it.
For a while he was like, hey, don't be so stressed. I'm like, no, this is me so aligned. And so
happy.
You don't, I love it. I get so
But there
happy.
is this time that she'll be sit on the couch and she's like, let's watch a movie. She's out. There's only so much this physical form can do. But then and I said to Sabrina earlier today, I said, but you do this deep dive thing in your meditations in your mornings. You just sit and you breathe and you're so slow and open. You're like this receptacle to receive and then right? So that's her yin and yang.
I have to say, I think we all have our, I shouldn't speak about anybody else. My nature sometimes is to wake up feeling a lot of weight of the world on me, even just as far as responsibilities to the dogs, to Tristan, to the business, to my parents, to the house. I feel the weight of a lot of things that I need to be responsible for the second I wake up, probably before I wake up. So when I first wake up, I make sure that I take the time to reorganize all of those thoughts and say things to myself before even just breathing, like, wow, another day. Another day to experience love, another day to get to take care of the dogs, another day to smile at Tristan, another day to be with my parents, another day to see what happens with the business, another way to have new thoughts. I have to prime my pump a little bit to get out of what sometimes will feel like a mood that I could wake up in.
So do you actually reorganize the thoughts, or do you just put them on a shelf for a minute?
I say those things that I just said.
So those become the dominant thoughts.
I say it. What an amazing day! I'm so excited about this day. I kind of.
So those don't have a chance to mess you up. Those other worries.
No. I jump right in front of them.
When do you do your? So Sabrina has a technique that she shared with all of us about a box of the worries and cares and fears, and she puts them on the doorstep of love. When do you do that? Is that at night before going to sleep?
Every time I have a worry. Every time I have a worry. But I would say most of the time when I do that, if I turn over, or let's say if I'm going to bed and I'm feeling any worries, I always do it then. But then I just have always had sort of a tendency, I wake up around 2 or maybe 3:30 or maybe 5, and the habit would be to think about all the things that I haven't completed. And I don't allow it anymore. I don't allow it since that vision. And I say, okay, I'm going to put that in my box of worries and put it on the doorstep of love. And I will not think about it. I let it go. No more reruns. And now if I wake up at night, I'm actually excited because I say, I'm going to commune with myself. I'm going to commune with love. I'm going to cuddle. I'm going to cuddle with love. I'm just going to be here. I'm just going to be here and know that I am loved and love that thing back. Like with my best friend, with me, the me I know I am and the me I want to be. It's very nurturing. It's very soothing. I would say there's 2, and I try to have them become 1. But I don't think about the worries. I put that in the box so that I can just be.
Good advice.
I'm very complicated.
Well, isn't that, I think, why we might listen to a show like this is we're looking for inspiration and techniques that align with us.
Yeah.
And so a lot of different things have come through today. Hopefully what you got was there's a mystery inside the adventure of life. And we don't need to know exactly how things are going to happen, but there is a whisper, there is a knowing. And I believe it requires trusting that we'll be guided. We'll be guided to the next best version of whatever it is. Or that if we have a desire, like I so desired that experience, it wasn't I desired to have a little mini lake in my backyard. I just wanted a place to go and be with the students.
Yeah.
And feel
that would be beautiful for them.
Beautiful for them is very important to me, to create an environment that is visually so appealing that it will make their practice even better. And so that desire has been very strong. And I feel like God gifted us with that today because of going on those little excursions and looking and staying open for where is it going to show up. I mean, I've been on the motorcycle going all over this land looking for little spots. And I found lots of little streams and things. But if you saw the video, I mean, this was just a gorgeous situation.
I thought on camera when I just was scanning through it, when I looked at the replay, I'm like, did you end up going to Turtle Dojo?
Yeah, she thought it was the same place. So that just blew my mind. And so I think this show, to me, what I wanted to share with you guys is we don't know when it's going to happen. We don't even know how it's going to happen, but if we stay connected to the feeling of what we want to experience and what we want to serve, somehow, I cannot believe, even this house that we're in, we sat on the couch one night. We'd been looking for years. Okay, so sometimes it takes a minute, right? We were looking for years for the right situation for us, the family, the business,
the
the rooms, everything, to work, the price range.
Whole Foods.
And everyone had all these opinions and all these desires and all these preferences. And it was driving Sabrina crazy because she was trying so hard to find it. And I remember one night I was just like, this home exists.
It was a Tuesday.
There you go. It's in this city somewhere. We've got to get out of the way and allow this other magical energy to align us to it so that we can find it and it can find us. I think that's what I was trying to say today. Like, that pond, it's been sitting there ever since we moved here. It's been sending out messages like, hey, I'm right here. You've been looking for me. I'm right here.
Oh, maybe she can buy some hairspray right next to me.
And these little nudges and whispers and things, you have to stay open and trust that the thing that you want, you're allowed to have it.
It wants you to.
It wants you to have it. This was just another really rad reminder that you can have an incredible, awesome life, and it's sometimes right under your nose. You just got to stay open. And then all the talk about the worries and alignment and all these things, like, that's the practice. That's every day. We were saying, like, not like just a weekend. It's like every day, alignment every day. Tomorrow you'll make a different decision.
And
every day.
When you know yourself as alignment, when that becomes the majority of your moments, it's not an option anymore.
Right. And there's so much evidence.
I should almost have a warning. Like, warning, once you experience alignment and guidance and magic.
You can't go back.
You can't go back.
You can't. There's too much magic happens in your life.
And so the sneak peeks back out of alignment are so much more painful than they ever were. Mm-hmm. The average life, it's not an option. A lack of faith is not an option. Life without love is not an option.
Ooh, I like that. Life without love is not an option. Write it down, Barbara.
Make a meme, Bonnie.
All right, kids. Hey, thanks for being part of this journey with us. This is another TRISBRINA show where we're talking about trusting that inner knowing, listening to the whispers of the divine, trusting yourself, staying aligned, staying open, getting out your way, keep moving your body, listen through the body.
Magnetic eyelashes.
And magnetic eyelashes. All right. On that note, have a beautiful rest of your Thursday. It's date night here in Austin. Bye now. Much love.